because we are one. We are one. When you step back from the planet, if you could do that, if you could imagine, we are all one. There's no good or bad, no black or white, no blue or red states. Mother Earth wants to smile. I said Mother Earth wants to smile again. Thank you.
It is so nice to be here with you. Do you notice these wonderful new things? Yes, this is our new bulletin. In fact, let me just see. I think I need a complete set because I used them at the last. So if there's an extra set back there, would somebody grab one for me? I really appreciate it. So thanks to Kelly for designing this, and oh, bless you. Thank you very much, Susan. And you'll notice that, you know, there's our principles, our practices, our practitioners, our leadership council, when we meet, what we teach, how much we welcome you, and all of that is in one page, and it is beautiful. And so today we encourage you to take it home, take the whole package home, and next week, recycle the cover. Just take out the inserts that you like, and whenever the covers get a little tattered, we'll make new ones. And you can take them and share with your friends. That's really awesome. So you know, when we said that we are an open, welcoming community, we're doing our vision together, and those are values that have been determined as important for us, and so they find their way into what we think and say and do. That's what values do. That's one of the reasons we take time to have values, so that we let them guide us. They inform us as we move along. And so the value of open and welcoming is, it made its way to me this week in a wonderful way. And yesterday I was in the office playing. I was here by myself, and I was just cleaning my office and looking for videos for today's service and just having fun. And somebody called. One of the things I wanted to say is that, you know, it's wonderful to see new people. There's some new people here today. I can see you. And what's really even more wonderful is when those new people come back. Yay! I see you out there. Hooray! Hi, Hannah. Hi, Ty. You're back. I love that when new people come back, because it says what we're doing is working, right? And it's serving you and feeding you, and that is our purpose. That is our purpose, so that how we live, who we are, what we do, how we create this is an uplift for you. And it can't be like that unless it's an uplift for us. You know, we can't do this if we don't feel it. And one of the wonderful things about work, this kind of work, is that it forces you to get here now again and again and again. You know, isn't that so? And Mary's nodding. I mean, that's the deal. The choice to be a practitioner, to be a minister, to be a creative person, to be a musician, to show up as a greeter means you've made an agreement with the thing itself, and that agreement says, okay, I'm going to drop whatever's bothering me today, and I'm going to be here now so that I can be fully present with you. And in this, like little trickster that life is sometimes, you know, in that little process, you end up feeling good and you forgot what the heck it was you drug in there. You can't even find it anymore if we're doing it right. And so that's a great thing. So, back to the phone call. So I pick up the phone, and there's this beautiful voice. And it sounded like somebody I knew from Ukraine, but it wasn't Ukraine. And I was trying to get the voice. And I finally said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Well, from Brazil and Colombia." And I went, "Oh." And so there's two young men, or maybe not so young, well, young to me. Two men traveling around. They're musicians. They're amazing. And they are beautiful lights. I could just feel that on the telephone. I was so inspired. And so in our vision statement, we talk about being open and receptive. And today's theme is living in the fountain of fullness, flowing in the fountain of fullness. We don't get to have that fountain of fullness experience unless we are open and receptive to it. We can't have lots of coats on. We just can't have tons of barriers and then expect to have that fountain of fullness charge through all those barriers and find us. We have to do the finding us first. We have to take off the coats. We have to be willing to have that fountain of fullness find us. We have to be a place where that fountain of fullness, or whatever it is that goodness is to you, we have to be a place where that can be comfortable, where that fullness feels at home. That's the deal. We have to become it. And that's what Gandhi said, be the change. Michael Beckwith says, don't make it happen, make it welcome. Come on. Remember the word from last week? Davai, davai. We have to say davai, davai, come on. So this is what we do here. And so they called, and they're traveling, and they've just been in the country about 4 weeks, long enough to find a van, buy a van, get everything together. Now they're on the road. And, that's what I wanted to do as a minister. I wanted to buy a van. I imagined myself 20 years ago when I was becoming a minister. I thought, I'd like to be the Charles Kuralt of the year 2000. Because I graduated in 2000 from ministerial school, and I wanted to have a van and have a uplink and a downlink on the back, a little satellite dish, and I like traveling as much as Bo does. And, of course, you can't ship the van across where I want to go. But, whoa, there's something happening behind here. Oh, it's their music. Oh, listen to these guys. Raj, you are just the best. Listen to this music. Raj, you're a genius.
We are one. We are one. We are one.
Open your heart.
And we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
We are one. Come on, you can do it.
We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one heart, one light, one rhythm, one soul.
So now you know why I had to be at the office yesterday. I was wondering, why are you going there? You promised yourself to take a day off. And I'm at the office. But it was so that I could be here to get that phone call, so I could hear them, and they sent me their songs. And they said, could we come? And I said, well, I really think so. Let me ask Rick, and why don't you give him a call so he can hear you too? And so we did this little dance with them yesterday. I was so compelled by their music. I watched their videos. I ended up, doing some work, and it was just playing. And I replay it, and I play it over and over and over. So guess what? They're going to be here on Wednesday. Because we are open and receptive. We are that kind of welcoming community that when Spirit brings you something, we don't say, well, it's not on the calendar. We say, there is room on our calendar. Come on in. Doesn't matter that it's not in the marketing, it's in our hearts. And so if you love that music, and if you love singing, chanting, they take kirtan, these sacred Hindu kinds of chants, and then they bring them into a new thought and a totally new instrumentational way of singing. And there's so much fun for harmonies, and you're going to love it. So Wednesday at 7 o'clock for a love offering. If you want to come at 6, bring some food. We'll gather in the kitchen. Anyway, we're going to have a great time. And that's because we have a vision that includes the values of opening and welcoming. So, this month is spiritual living through creativity, which creativity is consciously allowing spirit when it shows up to guide us. You know, creativity doesn't come from making lists. I mean, I'm a great list maker, and I think that's a good thing. Sometimes I even put things on the list that I've already done so that I can cross them off so I can feel some momentum. Yes, I have a lot of momentum now. The theme for today is the flowing fountain of fullness. And so I ask you to think about this. What is the flowing fountain of fullness mean to you? If your life was a flowing fountain of fullness, what would it be? So just close your eyes, as Bo would say. Just close your eyes. And imagine that your life is a flowing fountain of fullness. This is good practice. And so you see, that thing which you can imagine is already yours. You would not imagine it. You wouldn't get a sense of it if it wasn't already known to you. And at some level, you've already chosen it. And so just feel that fountain of fullness and know that no matter what, it's yours. You can do it. We are here for each other. We are one. We are connected. We are a spiritual community. Our purpose is to live in the light, shine the light, share the light, be the light, support each other to do that too. That's our job. That's our joy. That's our life. That's it. Just that, what you're doing. That's it. So, what is it that gets in the way of us living that life of fullness? Now, in the first service, I didn't get to tell any of my funny stories because I did a ritual that we're going to do in about 5 minutes. But I really wanted, now I know I'm not supposed to be attached to things, but I really did want to tell you a couple of stories. And I started with Ernest Holmes' quote, "Somewhere the soul must stand naked to the truth if it is to receive it in all its fullness." What does that mean, stand naked to the truth? It means that we have to remove those barriers to that, so that the truth can, just like it did when you heard the first words of that music. I know that it got you because the energy in the room just went, right? That's when we receive the truth. So our work is to take all the untruth that's in our life and say, tain't so, not mine, don't need that, that's an old self, I am more than that, I can do this, I am worthy, whatever it is that we need to do so that we become naked to the truth. All is well. All is well. No matter what it looks like. I know this is so. So, I was thinking about what are some of the ways that I've gotten stuck. The ways that I haven't let that fullness. And I thought about a really funny one. Well, I don't know if you'll think it's funny, but I think it's funny looking back on my life. So here I am, I'm a single mom, I'm raising all these kids. And then there's foster kids, and there's foreign exchange students, and there's best friends who've been kicked out of their house, and the house is full of kids. Every couch has a kid. There's 5 bedrooms. They're all full. And And what was really wonderful was it was a beautiful house. It was in the country club. It was something that, I'd only dreamed of. When my kids were little, on Halloween, we used to go to that neighborhood because that's where the rich people lived. And we'd get more candy in that place. And when I found myself there, I was really poor. We lived in our truck. We didn't have a house for a long time. We slept on people's couches. We slept in my vehicle. And then, some years later, we're living in the country club, and I'm driving a Buick Park Avenue. Now, how does that happen? There's a way, and it comes from believing the truth. It comes from saying, I am more than this. I do not define myself by this poverty. But the other side of that, when you come out of the poverty, there's a little hook. And this story is about the hook. So I'm living in this 5-bedroom house, half an acre in the country club, and dogs and cats and lots of people. And I kind of thought I'd arrived. I went, wow, I'm pretty cool. I'm living in the country club. I'm driving a Buick. And I started to define myself by that. Just like I used to define myself by the poverty before I unlearned it. And so it took me a while to realize that. Sometimes we don't see how stuck we are. Everybody moved, all the kids. They all went off to college. They went back to Sweden and Spain and wherever they're going. I set one of them free to live in a park because he couldn't follow the rules. And that was really hard. And, it's my foster son, and he's been in my life for 40 years. And all of those things, and they were all gone. And guess what was left? Me and 2 old cats in this 5-bedroom house. And for 2 years, I could not move out of that house. And I kept saying, well, it's the cats' fault because they're blind. If I move, they're not going to be able to find their way home. And so I let myself spend $15,000 more than I needed to because I wouldn't leave that house because I defined myself by it. And you know what? Our things are not us. And the lack of things is not us either. We are something else. We are what the songs are about today. We are the gift. We are the blessing. We are the love. We are born from this infinite thing that has so many ways of being described. So today is Sunday and tomorrow is Memorial Day. And, Memorial Day, like a lot of other holidays, it's so easy to lose the meaning of the day, to really lose the essence of what this is. And you'll notice that there's a bunch of little things down here. One of them is mine, but I'll just lift this one up for a moment. And you have one in your program, and if you don't, please look and see if you have one in your program, and if not, raise your hand so one of the ushers can go find one for you. Okay, we have one over here that's needing one down here. So thank you, 3. So Shane, would you, and Bob, thank you so much. They're going to, if you'll just raise your hand, they'll bring them to you. So Memorial Day is truly, it's a long time being a celebration. Or not a celebration, really, remembrance. I was in Goose Bay, Labrador as a Canadian civil servant to the American Air Force in 1966. Yeah. In 7 and 8 and 9 for almost 4 years. In this isolated Air Force base that happened to be the landing, the refueling station between America, Europe, and Vietnam. And so the 59th Fighter Wing was attached to our base. And so they would routinely come and go. And I was there for about 1.5 years before I got married. I got married there. And the fighter pilots, my husband was an officer, and I was the secretary to the base commander. And so I just had this amazing life. But then it got really hard during Vietnam. And in any time of war, those things get right in your face. And people came and they went to Vietnam, and some came back and some didn't, and some came with such horrors, such stories. And, war is hell, really. And yet, as a society, up until recently, we've figured that war is the way to bring us to peace. But in fact, it isn't. War cannot create peace. Resistance cannot create flow. Only peace can create peace. And so this teaching says that what we believe inside is what we experience outside. And every one of us, while we never, ever would want to create a war anywhere in the world, collectively, we all contribute to the necessity of war, because the law has no choice but to follow the consciousness. And that is the tough part of this teaching. We cannot believe one thing and expect something else. And that is the power of this teaching. So in our hands and in our hearts and in our minds, as the songs and the readings and the prayers have said today, is the way to peace. And as we become peace, as within, so without. So our job, especially now, is to make peace with ourselves. And make peace with the people that we haven't made peace with. My mother, I kept her at bay for 40 years. Thank God, before she died, we connected again and fell back in love and in peace. So who do you have in your life that you've kept at bay? It's time to make peace. So Memorial Day is a day to honor all of those people who put their life on the line for us. Firemen, policemen, soldiers, medics, all the people that support them, that go over there, the war correspondents, everything. They put their life on the line because that's the structure and the system that we've created so far. So as we remember and honor them today for all that they've done, and as we remember and honor all the people in our lives today for all of the love that they have brought us, let us also know on this Memorial Day that we are making a choice for peace so that we don't need to send our soldiers to each other's countries. If every leader of every country sent their first or two children to their enemy's country, we'd have peace in a heartbeat. We just need to decide. And so I ask you to take your little card, and there's pens scattered around in the back of the chairs, and if you need a pen, put your hand up. Somebody will bring you one. There's some in the back. And I ask you to close your eyes and ask yourself, who do you want to remember today? Whose service do you want to acknowledge and honor? Whose love do you want to give thanks for? And allow yourself to open to this deep, deep love inside of you that is able to overcome the differences and the difficulties and love anyway. Something wants to happen at this time in our civilization, and it is that we find love and peace in our hearts and we learn to live from it. It is our purpose. It is what we're born for. And so the way we do it is we pause and we think about, who do we know who has given that sacrifice of their life? Could be the love of a mother or a father or an aunt or a soldier or a fireman or a policeman. Who has it been that you want to remember and honor today? And when you know, write it down on the back, the front. If if you need a pen, put your hand up. Somebody will share one.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
And so as we are remembering, we give thanks for these people. We give thanks. We know that we are never separate, that we are one body of God. Each cell, each of us, a cell in this vibrant, whole, perfect, and complete system, no matter what it looks like. And we promise to remember this, to see each other this way, not by our conditions of the Buicks or the truck that we live in, not by the path that we've chosen, but by the heart that we have, by the look in our eyes, by the feeling we have. And so today, let us honor the creative power within us that lets us choose to remember ourselves, our beloveds, and those people who have served, and know that war is hell and peace is now in our hearts. Peace is now our truth. And so I invite you to bring your remembrance here to this altar, or to take it home to your own altar. To bring it so that we acknowledge this movement in consciousness together today. We remember and we honor. So I invite you to bring it forth if you'd like.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, 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 remember. Remember,
so the power of remembering, it creates a value of love. And that value of love fills us. And it vanquishes fear. That value of love, as it fills us, it nurtures and nourishes us. And it finds its way into the dark little corners and crevices, so that more and more we feel ourselves to be free and whole and juicy and flowing and full of life's amazing goodness. And it starts right here by facing, acknowledging, and honoring something, a system that takes so many, and it doesn't need to. Because in our heart there is more than enough love to go around. And so I give thanks for our remembering today. And I make a promise, and I invite anyone to join me in this promise, that I know that peace is the way, and the way to peace is through me. I am the path to peace. My life is a place where peace is revealed. And as within, so without. And I see peace on earth in my lifetime. And so that lives can be used creatively for the good, joy, harmony, cooperation, and collaboration that all of our countries are trying to find their way to with each other. I give thanks for everyone and every life that brought us here, and for all the amazing good that is possible through us as we bring this peace forward as our piece of this amazing web of life. We are so blessed.